Born late into the Second Era, the man who came to be known as Tiber Septim became a legendary hero, uniting the continent of Tamriel to establish a long-lasting dynasty, and who survived his own death by ascending into divinity, worshipped as Talos, god of man and war. However, the details of his life, death, and ascension to godhood were not universally accepted, becoming matters of great debate and speculation, with stories differing greatly on what truly occurred. Of the many variations, two particular accounts took hold in the minds of many, one portraying a more traditional view of this mighty hero, while the other offered a less flattering interpretation of events. In the more traditional tale, Tiber Septim was born in the northern continent of Atmora, where he was named Talos, meaning Storm Crown. Journeying to Tamriel, he was raised amongst the Nords of Skyrim, becoming a valiant warrior and expert general in the service of King Kulakain of the Colovian estates in Cyrodiil. Under his orders, General Talos led an army against the forces of Hyrok and Skyrim at the Battle of Sancre-Tor. Yet despite the initial hostility, the Nords came to follow Talos when they discovered he was dragonborn, able to use a form of magic known as the Voice to perform dragon shouts of great power. Continuing to fight his king's wars, they conquered all of Cyrodiil by the year 854 of the Second Era, but were soon targeted by an assassin from Hyrok, who killed Kulakain and slit the throat of Talos. Although the general survived the attack, he could no longer use the voice, issuing orders through whispers. Talos then rose to become emperor, leading the armies of Cyrodiil and Skyrim on a campaign to conquer the entire continent. With the kings of Hyrok fighting each other, Septim was able to conquer the realm relatively easily, with many happy to support his empire. However, in hammerFELL, he found heavy resistance, though he again was victorious following the death of Prince Ator at the Battle of hundmg. In Morrowind, a more diplomatic solution was found, with the elves negotiating to have a high level of autonomy in their territory in exchange for providing the Emperor with the Numidium to help fight his wars, a colossal golem built by the Dwemer with godlike powers. The Empire found little resistance in the Black Marsh, but chose not to invade the dangerous inner swamps, as they held little value. Battling the Aldmeri Dominion and their allies, ELSWEYR was conquered after the Battle of Senchal, while Valenwood offered enough resistance to receive special rights, allowing them to largely govern themselves under their traditional Cameron kings. However, invading the summerSET Isles, homeland of the Aldmeri Dominion, proved far more complicated than the other elven territories, as the Thalmor were ancient, wise, and powerful. And so for this final invasion, the Emperor sent the Numidium, which rampaged across elven lands, until the Aldmeri surrendered, ending the war in the year 896 of the Second Era. Although parts of this story are generally agreed upon, some believe that much of this version is false, or else manipulated to make the central figure more heroic. And so many have come to believe that the man later known as Tiber Septim was actually born as Hjalti Earlybeard, a Breton from Alcaire. Growing into a great warrior, he became a general in the service of King Kulakain of the Colovian estates, leading an army against the forces of Hyrok and Skyrim. Defeating them in battle, enemy forces retreated into the fortress of Old Hroldan, where Hjalti was unable to lay siege with so few men and resources. However, soon he was visited in the night by a storm, who some have come to associate with a legendary hero named ELSWEYR Wolfhearth, known to appear throughout various periods of history to play an important role in the events of that time. Hjalti then learned the way of the voice, and with the power of dragon shouts, he was able to tear down the gates of Old Hroldan, after which he was given the title Talos, or Storm Crown. With this new power, Talos made his way to High Hrothgar, where he trained with the Greybeards, who granted him a vision in which he ruled as Emperor. Although he was able to conquer all of Cyrodiil with his new abilities, Talos was haunted by the vision he saw, until finally killing his king, burning down the Imperial Palace, and slitting his own throat to avoid suspicion. Though he could no longer perform shouts, Talos survived the injury, and so the Grand Battle Mage Zurin Arctus crowned him as Emperor of Cyrodiil to prevent the realm from dissolving. With ELSWEYR Wolfhearth and Zurin Arctus as his advisors, the Emperor went on a campaign of conquest across Tamriel. However, because he sought more diplomatic solutions to defeat hammerFELL and Morrowind, Wolfhearth ultimately left his service. Yet when at last it came time to use the Numidium to complete the conquest of Tamriel, the Emperor brought Wolfhearth back to help him one last time. Originally, the Numidium was powered by the heart of the god Lorcan, which granted it such tremendous powers. However, the very existence of this item was a closely guarded secret, and so the Emperor had to create an alternative power source, known as the Mantella, which needed to be imbued with a life force. As Wolfhearth, Arctus, and Septim stood near the Mantella, the battle mage attacked their former comrade, ripping out his heart while the Emperor watched. However, as this occurred, Wolfhearth used a dragon shout to kill Arctis, and so some believe both of their souls were fused with the Mantella. Using the Numidium, Tiber continued his conquest, defeating the Aldmeri Dominion and establishing the United Septim Empire. The conclusion of the war signaled the beginning of the Third Era, in which the Emperor ruled until the year 38, when he was succeeded by his grandson Pelagius. Pelagius then died without an heir a few years later, and so the crown passed on to his cousin Kintira, descendant of Agnorith, brother of Tiber, continuing the dynasty for 4 centuries. Yet in the end, Tiber Septim did not truly die, as his spirit ascended to godhood through a process called apotheosis, after which he was known as Talos, the god of war. Though many have speculated and theorized as to the specifics of how this occurred, some have come to believe that he became a god by mantling Lorcan, which meant recreating important actions once performed by the deity. This may have occurred when he sought to use the Numidium, as Arctis ripping the heart from Wolfhearth as the Emperor watched is similar to events of the Dawn Era, when Trinimac ripped the heart from Lorcan as Magnus watched. As a result of this occurrence, some believe the god Talos was imbued with the souls of all 3 men. In the years that followed, Talos became the 9th divine, taking his place alongside the other 8 gods of the Imperial Pantheon. However, many years later, well into the 4th Era, a great war erupted between the remnants of the Empire and the Aldmeri Dominion, resulting in the signing of the White Gold Concordant in the year 175. Unfortunately, this agreement led to many problems for the Empire, with the Nords of Skyrim outraged to learn that the worship of Talos was outlawed, returning the Imperial Pantheon to only 8 divines. Refusing to obey this new law, Jarl Ulfric Stormcloak used his people's outrage to serve as a catalyst to declare Skyrim as an independent nation, rallying his allies to rebellion against the Empire. Do your shopping on Amazon? Then why not use the link in the description box below to either the Canadian, American, or UK Amazon sites, where you support the channel with every purchase at no extra cost to you. So if you do your shopping on Amazon anyway, why not use the link below and help support CivilizationEx? A special thanks to all those who contribute to CivilizationEx, like Sigvald Mammothsbane, Anaxis the Grey King, Barachado, and the Spectral Knight. If you would like to help CivilizationEx, click on the Patreon link, and please be sure to like and subscribe, and click on the links to see more.